This is the Yanks Go Yard podcast with Adam Weinrib and Thomas Carinante.
Welcome to the Yanks Go Yard podcast. I'm Adam Weinrib. Thomas Carinante will be back Thursday. What the hell was that last week of New York Yankees baseball? The last time we did a show. Always. You just know, you feel it. You feel it in the air. As soon as the words escape your lips, you're like, I shouldn't have said that, because they're not going to do the thing that they should do. They're going to make the podcast feel stupid. Last time we did a show, Monday last week, they were getting ready to face the Jays for a 4-game series in Toronto, and the first two pitching matchups made perfect sense for the Yankees. And the third and fourth, and Will Warren, you don't know what you're going to get, but you hope to get something good. And the last spotlight start he had was the LA series, but he's rebounded since then. And then you got Clarke Schmidt on Thursday coming off this, modern scoreless record streak. Surely they'd be able to scratch out 2 of those 4. Thomas and I even tried to be reasonable. We were like, feels like they could win 3 out of 4. But the road factor, Toronto's hungry. They haven't been in this division race in a while. We'll give it a split. I don't know where they're going to come, but it feels like they should take 3 out of 4, but they will split. First 4-game road sweep by the Jays over the Yankees in the history of the franchise. So how about that? And then the Yankees leave that series, and Jamie Campbell on the Blue Jays postgame show is waving a broom around and saying, oh, well, you think we're not a first-place team, even though that's not what Michael Kay said at all. Oh, how do you like them Canadian apples? Here's a broom. Do you enjoy that broom? And, we just have to sit and take it because the Blue Jays won all 4 games. So there's no counter. It's not like, well, isn't it a little inappropriate? No, you don't actually get to say any of that because they won. So they get to dictate the narrative. Michael Kay clapped back. Yeah. I mean, the Blue Jays postgame show is going to make a direct attack like that. You deserve to be able to respond, but his response comes off flustered, and none of the people who made fun of you the first time are going to want to care or hear about it because to the victor go the spoils. So then the Yankees go into the Subway Series. For the 100th straight game, the opener of the Subway Series, they take a lead in the early innings. They take it back in the middle innings. That was nice. But then they give it away. The bullpen comes in, just methodical. There's a home run for Brett Beatty, who Mets fans wanted to cut. He goes yard. And then, 2 outs in the 7th. I guess we'll bring in a fresh reliever, Luke Weaver, who can't get through a game without allowing a home run lately. And there goes the 2-out walk, and there goes the game flipping home run by Jeff McNeil. And then Saturday, just Carlos Rodon coming up as small as possible in a moment when his team could have really used him. And then yesterday, Max Fried. It's a grind. He strikes out Juan Soto in the biggest at-bat of the game, gets through 5 in the bullpen. Every inning with that bullpen, just hanging on for dear fucking life. But they win a baseball game. They win exactly 1 baseball game. Before I go as NSFW, as Anthony Volpe's dad, I will acknowledge they did win a game. So good for the Yankees. And there might have been a moment at the end of yesterday's game, yes, that saved the season, that flipped this from being an 0-7 road trip through 2 of our rivals. Although I don't really care about the Mets much. I just like winning games more than I like losing them. So that made this one extra tense because they lost the first and the second when they simply needed to win a baseball game. It had nothing to do with the Mets. Had everything to do with the fact that, okay, the division race, you lost your grip. Somebody else took the grip and then ran with it a little bit. Now you're just trying to hang on to a playoff spot. So it wasn't Mets versus Yankees. It was Yankees versus a desperate search for victories. They finally grabbed one in the finale. And thank goodness, 48 plus hours without Yankee baseball. So we could talk about what we just saw, as well as the Clarke Schmidt news, potential replacement on the way, and Cam Schlittler, high upside, and Michael Kay, of course, stoking the flames. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back here 2 o'clock Eastern. Thomas will be back with me again on the Thursday pod. But for now, just following the week that was, talking about the good, but mostly the bad. I mean, man, if you're here for a spiral, I guess you cool down a little bit because of the win. You cool down just a little bit. The sweet relief when Devin Williams got the call on the Francisco Lindor check swing, not to mention the 2 strike calls on Luis Torrens that maybe he shouldn't have gotten, but also the framing just so obviously Mets coded. Like Carlos Mendoza screaming, and he has every right to scream. Those calls were bad, but the post-game narrative is, oh, the Yankees stole one. The umpires ended the Yankees losing streak. Anybody see the strikes called on Aaron Judge in the 8th? with a chance to get on base, maybe extend the 2-run lead. I mean, they were abysmal, and so were the ones that were called to Torrens. Both teams got hit by the umpiring monster. But yeah, the Yankees go ahead and save their season with just an unbelievably heady play by Cody Bellinger. Hey, defense matters. Taking chances matters. Making a play matters. And Sunday's win, coming after yet another rock bottom and 2 6-game losing streaks in a 3-week span, that might have been the biggest individual game win non-playoff division since the finale of the 2021 season, the win and in game. Don't think about what happened next. But obviously, win and in regular season, 1-0, game 162. I mean, it doesn't get bigger than that. Yesterday, just in the middle of July, Subway Series was just about the same size as that, which is crazy. Williams, great. Tim Hill, great. Fried getting Soto as the tying run after 4 consecutive singles, one of which was exacerbated by DJ LeMahieu having no range at second base, and one of which was a bizarre Trent Grisham play on a ball where he maybe deked, maybe lost the baseball. That Soto K in the 5th did change the game. Okay, back to kudos to Cody Bellinger. It's an incredible play. And if he doesn't make the shoestring, it's rolling past him, and it's 6-5, and Soto's on second with nobody out. The throw was just as impressive as the catch. The throw was on the money. Lindor not sliding, by the way. Another Mets mistake that's going to get glossed over because only the Yankees make mistakes, and we just sort of dance around it when the Mets do. It also seems like, the Yankees have just met struggling teams a lot. Red Sox, Mets, over the last couple weeks especially. And it's like, wow, this, 2 bad teams fighting. Who's going to win out in this battle of struggling teams? It's been the other team. Every time the Yankees have taken their struggles into a series with another team that can't pull together, it's been the other team. The other team's always picked it up. So thank goodness for Bellinger. Thank goodness for pitching and defense. But, man, that defense was abominable leading up to the Bellinger play. So I'm not giving credit to the defense. When the defense is LeMahieu stuck in mud, who LeMahieu's a tough problem. He has hit since June 1st, powerlessly, but he has hit. So it's like, all right, do I want the above average offensive output? Does that outweigh the fact that he is in cement shoes and miscast at his current infield position and forced Jazz Chisholm to play third where he aggravated his shoulder injury, which apparently only bothers him when he throws, and he wouldn't have to throw from third to first if he wasn't playing third? I don't think so. I think I'm not saying LeMahieu is, not quite as unusable as some other players on this team. And if there's a bench spot for him, I understand. But letting him continue to play second base and letting Jazz Chisholm not only play third, but play third poorly for the most part and injure himself playing third is egregious. So huge win, huge off-day breather, taken into tomorrow. Jazz plays second tomorrow. Sorry. Mariners are coming to town, riding 3 straight shutouts. Too important a game. Too important a game to bother with this any longer. It was too important to keep bothering with it 2 weeks ago. Here's what the Yankees need to do before tomorrow's game. Move a sore Jazz back to second. All-star Jazz. All-star sore Jazz. Is he playing in the All-Star game? Hope so. It's funny that he got it over Michael Garcia. Jazz, Fried, Judge going to the All-Star game. Never saw that trio coming in a million years, especially not when Jazz missed a month. But they all make sense. And I think Carlos Rodon's going to get in too as pitchers start to disappear and get replaced after they pitch on that Sunday, especially. We'll see. I'll take 3 for now. It's hard to argue this Yankees team that was 17 games over and fell all the way to 7 over and is now 8 up and is just in the thick of the wild card race instead of leading the division. It's hard to be like, that team needs 5 All-Stars. 3's good. I think Carlos Rodon deserves it, but also came up small again on Saturday, as he's been wont to do these past couple of years. It's been largely a game changer and difference maker, but when they really need him, if he goes 5 innings, 2 runs, do they win Saturday's game? Or do they not because JV and Sandridge and injured, maybe came back too soon from injury, Luke Weaver are the guys behind him? Jeff Hartlieb. I don't like any of these people. These people aren't good. The bullpen reinforcements are not reinforcements. That's the other thing the Yankees need to do before tomorrow's game. Bullpen trade. Bullpen trade today, tomorrow, forever. Yeah, they need bullpen help at the deadline, but they also need bullpen help on July 8th. Now. Not now or never. Now and later. Now is great. Later also good. Do both. Because Jonathan Loaizaga and Mark Leiter Jr. are unusable right now. Proven unusable yesterday. Mark Leiter Jr.'s inning. Lindor, Soto, Alonso. Hit by pitch. Incredible defensive play by Cody Bellinger. Bails him out. Walk. What are you doing? Loaizaga, 5-2, and a clean inning there sets the tone for the rest of the game. If they can get through that 6th inning, then just maybe they can squeeze through the 7th and go to Weaver and Williams or Hill and Williams or something to end the game. And the bases are loaded with nobody out instantaneously. I thought Jonathan Loaizaga was supposed to be sort of a secret weapon. They missed Fernando Cruz, yeah, but at the same time, I'm kind of getting tired of just like splitter artists. The Yankees built up swing and miss in their bullpen this offseason by just targeting guys with gimmick pitches. And Cruz was great, and Leiter has been terrible. And Leiter is a great example of a he is what he is guy. If you're looking for trade deadline additions, like you're looking at the FIP, Leiter, Andrew Heaney. Like if a guy has underperformed relative to his FIP and advanced metrics for like 8 years, stop being the we can fix him team. You just have to acknowledge that like maybe something about their profile leads to them being a C+. Sometimes great, sometimes bad, just kind of in the middle. And it feels like that's what Mark Leiter Jr. is. And he's been overburdened. So on top of being a C+, he pitches too much. His role isn't what it should be. They need to make a bullpen trade today. Will they? I don't know. Nicky Lopez has been their answer so far. Nicky Lopez going to AAA. Hey, what was the dumbest moment of the entire weekend in your eyes? Anthony Volpe hitting Aaron Judge with an errant baseball? Javian Sandridge coming in at 7-5. Weaver coming in with 2 outs and nobody on in the 7th of the first game. And then Weaver basically doing an I'm not okay pop punk emo post game. He's not okay, and I wonder about him, and I don't know what happened here, and I don't know if he rushed back, and I don't know what parts of his body are intact and what's not, but just an extremely, incredibly dumb weekend following a steamroller in Toronto. Like, you want to question and second guess what the Yankees did at Citi Field, I can get behind. There are a lot of moments that could have gone either way. Toronto series, it was just a red-hot team running into an ice-cold club with a hot poker. Steamrolled. Yankees took it when they extended their 2-0 to 2-1 to 3-1 lead on the Stanton Ribby single in game 1. You could fool yourself into being like, that was a big insurance run. And then bad defense from Volpe. And then they just got run over by a truck. And I tweeted at that point, we need a word stronger than implosion for this, because that level of tone setting in a 4-game series is what makes the impossible possible. The Yankees were going to get 4 games swept in Toronto until they collapsed defensively, offensively, on the mound midway through an opening game tone-setting win and gave Toronto the life they needed. Yankees go up 2-0 on a Dominguez hit, a clutch 2-out hit in game 2. Max Fried on the mound. Weird stuff happened. Fried gave up a 3-run homer to Andres Jimenez after a Jazz Chisholm misplay with 2 outs in an inning where he could have escaped with a 1-run lead. Weird stuff happened. Yankees come back from 8-0 down in the 3rd game. And by the way, you don't come back from 8-0 down without falling down 8-0. Unforgivable. And the 8th run was Will Warren doinking a grounder off his glove. And I was like, man, if that 8th run ends up being the difference, I'm going to lose my mind. As if I wasn't going to lose my mind anyway. Thankfully, Addison Barger singles during the Devin Williams meltdown, and it's 11-9 and instead of 10-9. I don't have to think about that run. They would have lost anyway. Great. Love that. Love that for us. But, and Aaron Judge just adds another one to the annals of clutch Aaron Judge home runs in games that don't matter. 9-7 and 9-9, just like an historic moment. The burden is lifted. The tide is turning, and then the next inning, just more runs. The next inning, more runs should have been the theme of the whole week. It was like, we could really use a shutdown inning here. Oh, we didn't get one. No, more runs scored. It would be great if such and such could step up, and they can't. They can't, they won't, they didn't. Now the Yankees are 3 games back in the East. And you could talk all you want about, hey, should the Toronto post-game show have been as brazen as they were about being fanboys? Obviously, that upset Michael Kay. Although it should be noted that Jamie Campbell, the Toronto post-game guy, and Michael Kay seemed to have buried the hatchet. Kay did like an angry monologue calling him a fanboy and saying if Jack Curry had done the same thing and waved a broom around on Yes Network, he would have been fired. He also called out Toronto, as I did, for dunking and hanging on the rim 3 minutes into the third quarter, which really is the heart of the matter to me. If you want to come after Michael Kay for saying that, Toronto's not a first-place team, they're not yet. A first-place team is a division champion. You end the year in first place. That's how you become a first-place team. By Toronto fans' logic, the 2025 Yankees are also a first-place team because they've held on to first place at points during the 2025 season. If the Yankees fall further out of first place and choke, I don't think any Yankee fan is going to be like, they were a first-place team, though. And so now Toronto has 80 games to hold on to it. That's how you become a first-place team. So I think Michael Kay stoking the flames unnecessary, but also, what was he saying, really? He was saying Toronto's run differential is not befitting of a team that is playing at a first-place level. Correct. Toronto seems to be a team of destiny, though. And they made Kay look foolish, as people often tend to make blustery, braggy Yankee fans look foolish these past couple of years. Because we didn't wait to talk until the season was over. The Yankees have a reputation for folding, especially in June and July. If you're a Yankee fan talking in June and July about your margin of victory, you better be really confident it's going to continue. Because otherwise you could look really silly really quickly. And that's what happened. Again, Campbell said, we don't get to celebrate around here. First place much in these parts. I got excited. And Kay said, you're a class act. Hope to see you in a couple weeks. I don't know why this got diffused so quickly. It was obviously done for clout. Maybe on both ends. But again, if you're a Yankee fan and you want to talk in June, you're crossing your fingers the whole time that this doesn't flip instantaneously, because otherwise it's going to make you look quite bad quite quickly. And that's where we're at now. And yes, the Blue Jays, since taking that 1-game lead over the Yankees, have extended it to 3 by sweeping the Angels and finishing off a perfect homestand. So they're closer to their goal of wrapping the season in first place. Closer, but still July. That said, if you're a Yankee fan banking on the trade deadline to save you, better get cracking. Like I said, bullpen trade today and later, now and tomorrow. Don't wait. Because what does the trust tree look like in the bullpen these days? Boo! Was there a single human being entering in the 4 innings after Max Fried yesterday who you really trusted? Tim Hill throws strikes. Devin Williams has largely been great for the last 2 months since an abysmal start, but also fell apart in Toronto when they needed him last week. So I would say 2-run lead. I trusted Devin Williams for the most part. I did not trust a single other solitary soul. And that was evidenced by everybody popping in and immediately putting runners on base. And Jonathan Loaiza dropping the feed from Paul Goldschmidt after doinking the ball off his glove. Like, there's a reason I wasn't excited to see him come back this offseason. He's just been a part of too many moments like that. 4-0 lead. Oh my God, the bases are loaded with no outs. Why? How? Well, this soft grounder can help us get out of it. No, it can't. It won't. It didn't. I'd love to move on. The Yankees can't lose ground in the loss column today because they're not playing. It's fantastic. Some of you people online are like, oh, what do I do? A full day without Yankees baseball. And I'm like, this is the first time I've been happy in weeks. Coming off a win, and then I don't have to watch them tonight, and I don't really have to scoreboard watch either because the Red Sox are playing the Rockies. Schedule maker's gift. I got a kick out of the Bill Simmons tweet that was like, the Red Sox are 5-1 since I tried to give up on the season and said we should trade Aroldis Chapman. So you gave up on the season right before the at Nationals where they fired the GM and manager, and then Rockies coming to Fenway. So you gave up on the season then just so you could tweet that you giving up on the season caused them to surge, because the Rockies are 20-60. Schedule maker Jason Varitek, be crazy for that one. Anyway, on to pitching depth and trade deadline needs. Just one final point. Obviously, the Yankees have lost Clarke Schmidt for the season. And part of the reason why drafting Schmidt when they drafted him in the middle of the first round in 2017 was such a coup is because he was rehabbing from Tommy John surgery at that point in time. And most players don't need to. And when you get a second one, it impedes you more than the first. And of course, here is Yankees playing a dangerous game, a smart game, but it backfired. And here is Schmidt not only needing Tommy John surgery, most likely, but needing it at his absolute peak, coming off 29 plus scoreless innings. So the Yankees it always feels like these Yankees moments, and I'm sure every fan base feels this way, but just happen in the most painful sequence possible. Where like not only pitchers break, pitchers need Tommy John. It's become an inevitable reality in today's game, but Schmidt needs it after building up his durability this year, finally going 6 innings more routinely, just 2 starts after the no-hit bid against the Orioles. Like, why didn't he get tested earlier? Because he was pitching better than he ever has in his life. So if it felt like normal wear and tear, it was fair to assume and hope that it was, because he had been brilliant. And so you plan to lose pitchers. You're never going to make it through a season with everybody healthy. You hope not to undergo too many of these season enders. And the Yankees lose Cole and the Yankees lose Schmidt. And it adds starting pitching depth to their deadline registry, yes. But right now, they've got a rotation spot occupied by Marcus Stroman and a rotation spot occupied by TBD. Ryan Yarbrough is on the shelf, but is on the roster and will come back to help in the second half. And maybe taking some bullets out of his arm during this stretch will help him be more readily available in the second half and pitch at a higher upside and a higher level. Luis Gil is on his way back. Can you count on him? Can you count on him being the best version of himself? I'd like to see it, but he's in reserve. And then Cam Schlittler. The Yankees, Joel Sherman reported the Yankees are calling him up for a start this week. The Yankees were cagey about it. They said we haven't made a final decision and all that stuff. But all signs point to them taking a higher upside play with their 99-mile-an-hour throwing evolutionary AAA arm, a 6'6" absolute menace beast. And I'd much rather them see what they have in Schlittler than just say we are trading Schlittler at the trade deadline. Starting pitching, Stroman's starts, neither one of them has actually been a problem lately. I don't know if you can count on that to continue. In fact, I'm pretty confident that you can't. But 5 innings, 3 runs, and 5 innings, 1 run against the A's, it taxes a bullpen that can't be taxed right now and only adds to the urgency for getting a bullpen solution. But Stroman, not the Yankees' primary problem. Both of his starts since coming back from the IL were winnable. Schlittler, I love. You're making a genuine upside play instead of saying we'll throw Alan Weinands to the Wolves and figure it out at the deadline. Losing Schmidt does not make a starter at the deadline anything more than my third priority. Still, you can get a depth guy, if you can get reliability, if you have a deal you can't pass up, if you believe you can fix Zach Gallen at this price, sure, but third base cannot leave the deadline without a third baseman who moves just in the second. Whether it's Ryan McMahon or you're paying the price for the rental in Eugenio Suarez, or you believe in keep Brian Hayes, or you have a clever additional controllable solution like Otto Lopez in Miami or something. Whatever it is, we need it. Cannot get past the deadline without it. The take flaming them for not doing it is already locked and loaded. Simply must. Non-negotiable. And then bullpen help. Again, immediate and in the future. And then beyond that, it's your starting pitcher. But Schlittler was the obvious move, will be the obvious move. I'm planning to speak it into existence. I'm not going to pretend the Yankees are going to waffle here. I'm not entertaining that until they do, until they go back to Weinands, until they make a mistake. I'm confident they're going to do the right thing and promote Clarke Schmidt's replacement in Cam Schlittler and give him a couple of week runway to make magic happen. But it's a tough stretch. The stretch never gets less tough. Mariners, direct wild card competitor now, because yeah, you're in that race. Cubs, maybe the most complete and exciting team in baseball, although they struggle at Yankee Stadium. Hope that continues. Hope that is not a trend that reverses itself this week. And then the All-Star game, the break, much needed breather. Then in come, you go to Atlanta, you face the Braves. They're struggling to score. I'm sure they'll figure it out the night before they face you, though. Probably over the All-Star break. All their hitters will be like, we remembered what to do. We forgot, and then we remembered. And then you go to Toronto again, where Jamie Campbell and Michael Kay bury the hatchet. 3 more in Toronto. Who did this? What is this schedule? 4 in Toronto to start this month, and then 3 more in Toronto 3 weeks later. Great. Love it. Hey, join us on Thursday when we'll recap the first 2 games of the Mariners series. Hopefully we get something to build off of from Bellinger's season-twisting play, if not season-saving. Without that play, where are we today? Similar amount of screaming, but with a degree less hope. Thank you for joining us on the Yanks Go Yard podcast. You can find us every Monday, every Thursday at 2 o'clock Eastern time, right here, and then on all your favorite podcast platforms after we are live on YouTube. Thomas Carinante will join me on Thursday. Then I will be at the All-Star festivities next week, reporting from Atlanta, gathering content for the channel. Hopefully get you some Aaron Judge, Max Fried, Jazz stuff. So stay tuned, turn your notifications on to figure out when we're going live next week. Until Thursday, though, I'm Adam Weinrib. You can find me online at Adam Weinrib. You can read us at yanksgoyard.com and at yanksgoyardfs on Twitter. Catch you guys later. Big week ahead for the Yankees. Every week is big when you fumbled the bag already in the summer. One final point, too. The Aaron Boone managerial thing. All right, I don't want to get too far into it, but Ken Rosenthal made my point for me today, so I feel like I have to weigh in here. My problem with Aaron Boone just is different than I think the problem a lot of people have with him. And the problem a lot of people have with him, it comes from reading into something that you believe is in the locker room, but that you'll never know about. I operate in legitimate, theater. I only talk about what I see. So people claim there's no accountability. Everyone screams about a lack of accountability, but the only evidence is that the Yankees make mistakes. And there's some magical world that people who yell about lack of accountability under Aaron Boone operated in, where they seem to think that you can tell people angrily to stop doing something and that will make it stop. That it's a 1-to-1. Like, I don't know what world some of these people are in, and professional sports is different. And it's in such, the medium is so, it's both transparent and not. You feel like you know everything about these people, but you know nothing about what goes on behind the curtains. But it's just not realistic to say that Aaron Boone should be able to make the errors go away. Jazz Chisholm should be playing second base. That will help. Tangible strategy, fighting back against whatever is preventing them. The loyalty to DJ LeMahieu, that's the issue. The Yankees' complacency is their problem. And it leads to Aaron Boone saying things like, we're good, we're the best team in baseball. I don't mind him being confident, but I mind that it reflects in complacency. They're not willing to make a change with LeMahieu and Jazz because they love LeMahieu. They don't want to upset the apple cart. They don't want to be too impulsive. And they don't believe July matters as much as the end of the season. But quickly you are losing your rope. So you do need to make changes. You can't prepare for an October that's never coming. You can't prepare your bullpen moves for a close game that may never happen. They love to do that. That is my problem with Aaron Boone. But lack of accountability to some just means that he should be out there screaming every day. Or he should get on the mic and go, 7 of my players are terrible. That's not reasonable. And that also is not going to have a 1-to-1 correlation to fixing errors and cleaning up sloppy mistakes. I'd love to see the Yankees play a more disciplined program. But to act like it's easy and Aaron Boone can just get in front of the mic and say, Anthony Volpe is a bad shortstop. He's got to stop being terrible. And that Volpe would immediately respond to that by never making an error again. That's not realistic. That's not how managers interface with the media these days. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. But that's also just, you can't control behavior. You can influence it. But there's a world where some critics seem to think the Yankees should never be making errors ever again. And that if Boone would only say that errors were bad, the errors would stop. That is silly. The real issue is the complacency, the continued, again, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but it does seem like in every closed door meeting, they keep telling themselves how great they are. And it leads to them valuing these games in June and July less than maybe their opponents do. They're getting jumped on and run over by teams like the Blue Jays. So what's the real issue? I could totally deal with a change of voice. Because how about this? If the Yankees' problem is that Aaron Boone is too soft, which everybody seems to say, then why does the whole roster play scared whenever things get tight? It almost seems like the opposite, that they're scared to make a mistake. Why? The pressures of New York, maybe he's not doing enough to coerce them into treating these moments like they are important and they matter. And that as the tension rises, like, these are playoff games and they're being treated like regular season games, and sloppiness is ensuing. In the culture that is New York baseball, you do need to teach your players to despise losing and take all of these regular season opportunities as seriously as the teams that are facing you are taking them. A team like the Mets wants to win badly in the Subway Series. They don't have to be your rival, but you do have to take them as seriously as they're taking you. That is my problem with Aaron Boone's leadership. There's no magic formula where he screams enough to the media and says, "You're right, my team isn't good," and then they immediately reverse course and stop making mental and physical errors. But what he needs to do is cultivate a culture where they take every day as seriously as the most important game of the year and prepare themselves mentally for when the games really do get that important. So I'll leave you with that. That's my Aaron Boone issue. And if the Yankees, I think the Yankees need a change of voice. I wouldn't mind them making a change of voice, but I want to make sure they are bringing in somebody who would pivot in the way that they require. Someone who will help them take New York baseball as seriously as it needs to be taken, and someone who won't act like a switch can be flipped. More discipline would be nice. Aggressive public discipline is not necessary, helpful, or a cure-all. That's it. We'll see you on Thursday's show. Take care, everybody.